Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Ghost Dog back in the house. We are with another guest. This one's different than the lines we've been going on, but we're going to be talking a lot about the same things. If you have a iPhone, if you have an Android, specifically a Galaxy, um, this is probably somebody whose channel you want to subscribe to. But today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. You know us. We look Brian's Tech to the channel. Brian, long time coming for this conversation. How are you doing today?
Yes, sir, man. I'm good. First of all, I appreciate being on. This is my first ever like doing somebody's show, somebody else's thing. So this is awesome, and I'm glad that it's also a part of a subject that I'm super passionate about. So
Yeah,
that's really cool as well. I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain. I'm super excited to see how the channel's been growing. Been watching all the content, loving it,
great.
and I've been looking forward to this all day. So let's do it. I'm excited, man.
Great. So we're gonna hop right into it. Just because I respect the time. I know you said you got all night, but I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to respect
cool.
people's
We
time,
chat it up.
especially when they join the channel. Sometimes we just chat it up, and if that's what happens, that's what happens, right?
Sir.
All right. So let's talk about. So I'm gonna flip my questions around. I normally do this question at the end. I'm gonna put this question at the very, very beginning.
Okay.
What is your dream firearm to own?
My dream firearm to own. I would probably have to say a truly Russian-made AK-47,
Okay.
back from like the 1940s, early 50s.
Okay.
They're very expensive if you can find one that's still original, even if you know the modded ones and everything like that. But like a Russian-made AK-47, I think is probably one of them, because that is the gun that changed the landscape of war. Let's be honest. That
Uh-huh.
that gun changed everything. It can go through mud, it can go through snow, it can go through dirt, dust, whatever you want. Dunk it in anything, paint. It does not matter. You pick it up, it'll shoot. And I think they just that platform has been around for this many years because it's so iconic. It's like the first M16, right? It's like
Uh-huh.
super iconic and changed the landscape of our military. So the Russian Kalashnikov for AK-47, I would absolutely love to have one of those.
Got you. Uh, won't be the first time I said this. Won't be the last time I said this. My dream gun is going to be a Terran Tactical Sand Viper or Pit Viper.
Man, Terran Tactical, some cool stuff. I would love to go to the range there and just like, I don't know if you ever had this experience where you like see something on TV or in a movie or like online, and then you go there and it's so much different because you get to see different angles. That's what I want to go see of his range and shop, because it sounds like it's incredible. That's
Mhm.
for sure. Love that.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely would like to hopefully get to do that sometime in my illustrious career here on YouTube, being a gun tuber.
Dude,
So
I'm tuning into that video, man. I'm watching live.
So, another question that I usually ask a little bit later on. I'm getting some of these little softball questions out of the way
Yeah,
early,
do it, man. Let's do it.
and then then we'll get into some of the real stuff that I really want to kind of talk about.
Oh,
Top 3 favorite firearms that you currently own.
question. Number one is this was my I guess this was one of my dream guns to tie back to your previous question, the SIG
Mm-hmm.
P226. Um Ever since I started liking firearms, that was the gun I've always wanted to buy. Like handgun wise, that was it. And I now own that gun in a 40, and I absolutely love it. It's not that is probably my most prized gun. It's not my most expensive gun. It's not my
Mm-hmm.
most like modded out, but like if I had to get rid of all of them and leave one, it would be
Okay. What about the other two?
the other two. I forgot you asked three. Uh,
He's like, I got this one at the top. I don't need to talk about anything else.
That's it. That's the one. The top three favorites. Okay, so number one, SIG 226. Number two.
I knew that was going to be your number one because through our conversations,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's
I'm
the
a
gun
big
you've
fan
talked
of
about
it.
the most.
Number two, I think I have to give it to the Staccato. To the Staccato
Okay.
P. That gun is so different than any other gun that I own because of like first of all, it's like racking the slide is butter. Shooting it, there's like barely any recoil. You got really like precise shots, and I have a red dot on it. I have a Delta Point Pro on it,
Okay.
and that gun shoot like when you shoot that, it's tough to go back and shoot anything else because you're like it's so smooth, it's so precise, and it's
Mhm.
like a competition gun, you know. So it's I know that now I believe the P is meant for duty actually
Mhm.
for like on duty, but
Yeah.
Sig or not Sig Staccato makes a whole bunch of competition firearms,
Mhm.
and I think that one's incredible. And number three, I would probably have to say my AR. I have a DPMS 5.56 um, AR that I completely modded. I changed a lot in it. I took about 3 pounds off the weight of the gun, um, and have a what do I have? I actually have an Amazon red dot on it. It's nothing fancy, no like name brand that this was years ago. I got it, I think in like 2020, like right at the height of COVID is when I got
Mhm.
that red dot, and I just got it on Amazon. It's been great.
Okay.
Put a rail on it where you can, put stuff on any of the sides, top, bottom, any of that. Um, 30 round mags. And yeah, it's a very nice firearm. Obviously the collapsible, or I guess it's not collapsible, it's retractable stock where it goes shortens and extends. But I think those are my three, man. I got a few other ones that I really like, but I think those are the three
So,
that are my
so
favorite.
let me ask you this. I know the 226 will probably be one of these, but recently I did a video because off a challenge called Three Guns and Run or Three Guns and Flee or
Mhm.
Three and Flee, um, where we had to pick three guns that we would choose to take in if we had to go because of whatever reason.
Mhm.
Those are the guns we're taking. Would those be the three that you would take, or would there be something like, you know what, they can back out and I probably would take this one, and this one instead? Different than your favorites,
Yeah.
obviously.
So I get what you're saying. So I would actually leave the SIG 226 at home
Okay.
because it's not my highest capacity handgun.
Okay.
I believe my highest capacity is it's either between the Springfield Echelon
Okay.
or the SIG P320X full size. As far as handgun, I would obviously take the AR. Obviously, that if that's not going to get me there, nothing else will.
Right.
And I don't know if I probably would take one of my smaller ones. I'd probably take my EDC, my P365 XL, because
Mhm.
I'd imagine if you have to take it and run, you need one somewhere that's like, you know
You
what I
can tell.
mean? You got the big
Yeah.
AR hanging off the back, like picture,
Mhm.
so some action movie stuff. You got the AR hanging there, you got the full size on the waist. I feel like I
Mhm.
should have one, or maybe even the P365, my just plain P365, maybe like
Mhm.
ankle that or like
Yeah.
shin somewhere over there. That way, in case you got to be on the ground and something's really went sideways, you got at least you got access to your leg. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
so you
Right.
can take it out and have somewhat of a chance with some hollow points.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. So there you go. So three favorites now, three and Flee
Yeah, man. I
out
think
there.
that I think that's what that would be.
So now we're going to reel this back in a little bit to where I normally start off at with a
Oh
guest. So when and why did you get into firearms?
man, I've been into firearms ever since I was a little kid. Never
Mhm.
had any real guns. Um, didn't have them in the house growing up. We had so my first like experience with anything that wasn't like just a toy with like, pew 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 like what you would get from Toys R Us or something. My
Mhm.
first experience was with a BB gun. And it was all steel. It was like a modern day 1911. Like it was all steel. The slide would rack. Like it was no orange tip. It was legit. It wasn't mine. It was a family member's. And I shot it and I was like, this is what I've always seen in the video games and the movies and stuff like that. This is cool. Well, fast
Mhm.
forward a little while later, my I have an older brother. He got a pellet gun, just regular on the CO2 tanks and little pellet gun. So I would used to shoot that in my backyard and stuff. Then I got pretty big into paintball. So
Okay.
I had a few paintball guns and things like that. Then one of my neighbors, I used to live in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids my age. And this was probably when I was already in like middle school. and one of my neighbors got an airsoft gun. So it's like a BB gun, but like the plastic pellets. So
The
it's meant
plastic
it's a
pellet.
sport. You can shoot each other with it.
Right.
And I think it stings a little bit, but it's not like lethal by any means. Also on
Mhm.
CO2 tanks. So we got those, and like we used to run around just like, shooting stuff like street signs, not like, vandalism or anything like that, but like, shoot a rock, like just whatever you could try to hit the tree from across the street. So things like that. And then my first experience with a real firearm was in high school. I went to a family member's house who lives in Florida, and they own a firearm. They have a SIG handgun. That's where I got my affinity for SIGs. It was the first gun I ever shot.
Mhm.
And so I believe he had a 239. Not 100% sure. I believe it was a 2. So we went to the range, and I was terrified. I had no idea what to expect because, like,
No.
airsoft guns, BB guns,
Different. Yeah, those
they don't
different.
really
Probably
recoil.
not,
You get a little
yeah,
bit of
a little
a little
bit.
nudge, but they don't recoil. So
Mhm.
my first time shooting it, first of all, you're in the range, right? First time you got packed range, by the way. I have handguns and long rifles and things going off to the sides of me because different stalls. So that already was like, whoa, I've never experienced something like this. Never this loud, never this like I've never been like the loudest thing that I've been to kind of besides that was like concerts and fireworks, where it was like that kind of, similar-ish sound.
Mhm.
So we go to the range, and I still have a video of this somewhere. I have to find it. Go to the range, gives me the basics. Here's what you do. Here's how you load a magazine. You know, put it in the magwell, rack the slide, and you're
Mhm.
ready to shoot. So I remember still to this day, I remember I'm like aiming at the target, and my hand was shaking, and because I didn't know, like I'm watching the people in the other stalls, and I see their guns are recoiling. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I've never had any experience with this. Am I strong enough to? I have no idea. Like I said, this is completely different. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I don't know. Am I strong enough to do it? Am I going to break my wrist? Am I going to hit myself in the head like you see in movies? So I'm like, all right, so I'm stiff arming as hard as I can. Like I remember my arms are shaking. I'm so stiff.
Mhm.
And I let the first round go. And I was like, whoa. I immediately fell in love. I was like, wow, what is this? Because it's like, first of all, it's you got the concept in your head. You're like, oh, this is real. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't feel like what I've
No.
felt before. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like your first time driving when you're playing video games all these years, even if you have the wheel, it's not the same
Not the
thing.
same thing.
So you
Nope,
get
not the
behind the wheel
same.
of the
Yeah.
car and you're like, oh, oh, this thing is big and it moves quick. Kind of same thing with that. Like you shoot it and you're just like, wow, because there's no delay. You don't see the bullet. Like that's it. You see the hole and you're like, wow, okay. So, few mags go into that. I think we probably shot maybe 3 or 4 mags. Not a long range session at all. Just a little bit of, I think it was like my last day visiting out or, killing some time before the airport. So I shot that, and after that, I was like, "Man," and mind you, I'm in high school, so, like, I'm old enough to understand what this is, but not old enough to have my own gun.
Mhm.
So, immediately, I was like, "Alright, as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to get a shotgun." 'Cause, I'm pretty sure it's like this everywhere, but 18 to buy handguns and rifles, 21 to buy I'm sorry, shotguns and rifles, and 21 to buy handguns. Is that I think that's I think that's
I think
federal.
that's about standard law just
Yeah,
about
I think
everywhere.
that's it. So, turn 18, go get my first shotgun. Still have it, Stevens Savage Model 320. Got it from Dick's Sporting Goods for $249.
There you go.
Pistol grip shotgun, 12 gauge. And I remember I got that and I was like, finally, like I've always loved guns between video games and then finally shooting one. I'm like, oh my God, like I have to get one. So I have the shotgun. I get it. I shoot it one time, destroy my shoulder, like bruise it all up because I have no idea what I'm doing. I didn't take a
Yeah,
class.
you go from a handgun to that, it's like you're not
But, like, it's
expecting
a
the
12
kick
gauge,
from
you
that
know
one.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not and I mind you, I hadn't shot a handgun in probably 2 or 3 years at that point because I had only
Okay.
landed that one time.
Mhm.
So I'm like, "Alright, cool." Like, I'm shooting the gun, I shoot it, I probably get off maybe 20 slugs. This was a range that lets you shoot slugs and get off 20 slugs. I'm like, "My shoulder's gone. Time to wrap it up and go home." And after that, I was kinda like, "Ugh, did I make a mistake getting a shotgun? Because this thing, like, I still didn't now I know how to shoot it, how you lean in, how you stand, how you properly hold it. I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew the safety of it. I'd watched the videos. I talked to an instructor there. He showed me, but like once you know, you know. So I did that, and then but it all went downhill when I turned 21 and got my first handgun. That's
Okay.
when it went downhill. Then it's been
that was the door that opened up to
yeah.
let you
And
get in
it
there.
all went downhill from there.
Well, cool. Let's see. I'm a flip flop my questions. I had another question I ask you, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask this one first. As someone who's a creator, but not in this space,
Mhm.
what responsibilities do you think you have to share with the community, with this community, when you're out and about? Because obviously, what you do is, I got this device, I got this case.
All family friendly
It
stuff.
goes with it, friendly stuff. But when you're talking to somebody about firearms,
Mhm.
what do you feel is your responsibility when talking about it?
That's a good question. So I would say, and I'm just gonna relate this to my first time ever showing anybody handguns, because like I don't go out in the community and like that's not what I do. I keep this part of my life very 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 low key.
Okay.
So I first thing I always explain to people is like, don't be afraid of this because it's just a tool, right? It's a bunch of metal and plastic. You think about it. It's springs, screws, plastic, and just a little hammer is all that it takes to make it go boom, right? In order to activate the hammer, you got to pull the trigger. You don't pull the trigger, you're not going to activate the hammer. So don't be afraid of the product. It's just like holding any other tool in your hand.
Unless you're the P320.
Yeah, unless you know.
I
I had that gun actually. I sold it.
I know. I mentioned it earlier. I wanted to say something earlier, and I was like, "Nah, I'll wait.
Now
I'll
I have
wait."
the X full size, and thank goodness it's been good. But I tell
Yeah.
them, I'm like, listen, don't be afraid of it. But always, I don't care if the slide is back, there's no mag in, you can see right through the gun. Always treat it like it's loaded
Mhm.
because you never know. Like it does, if you always treat it like it's loaded, you don't have to question it. It's loaded.
Yeah.
That's it. Now I know I did my due diligence. I took out the mag. I made sure there's nothing in the chamber. I kept the slide locked back, like all clear. You can look through the gun right through the slide and see, make sure everything's good. Still, don't point it at people. Point it at the ground. If anything, point it away. Finger off the trigger unless you're ready to pull it. All that kind of stuff. So I just the basic everyday, like first day intro to guns class kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's the most
Exactly.
important because I think there's a lot of fear when it comes to guns, and not only like what they can do, but people I think avoid ever trying to use one in a range at a safe space where supposed to be used. Um, I think they're afraid because it's like, oh well, what if it goes off? What if it shoots by itself? What if
Yeah.
it does this? And the biggest thing is to just like be able to get over that where you understand that this is a mechanical tool. It's not automatic. A reaction happens. If you pull the trigger, then it shoots. Otherwise, it will not happen. Unless you're the P320, but yeah, if you drop it. But and once I've gotten people comfortable through that, I've been able to open their eyes and be like, whether your politics, you like it or you don't, that's great. But to me, it's like the most important thing is you understand what this is, and you understand that it's a tool at the end of the day. It's a tool just like you have, whatever other tool you carry around. This is a tool that just happens to protect you and your loved one, you know? So I think safety is by far the most important aspect of any of this. I think without the safety, there's nothing else to talk about. You know, it's not, oh, what
Yeah, for
caliber is
sure.
this? How many rounds does it hold? What can it shoot? Like, or when you're talking about rifles and shotguns, like what can you hunt with it? None of that matters if you're not being safe with it. That's my biggest thing to teach people when when I'm giving them their first introduction or a very long awaited reintroduction to firearms.
Yeah.
Hope that answers
Yeah.
the question.
It does.
Okay.
It does. So with that, I guess it kind of flows back into the question I was going to ask before that, because I know as of the last few years, you got married,
Mhm.
You've had a baby. Your baby's almost what, 2 now?
He's 19 months.
Yeah. So
five months away.
as that, how has your as a new dad and a new husband, how has your thought process changed about safety, if at all? And kind of explain like out there, like some of the things that you've challenge wise adding all these new responsibilities have done for you.
So when as far as safety around the house, always as soon as I come in the house, gun goes in the safe. I have different things placed around the house, all with combinations, codes, things like safety. You're not just going to open it. You know what I mean? So that was really big. Whereas before, if it was just my wife and I, we're all grown adults. We both understand firearms. We both understand firearm safety. Sometimes, if I'd come home from something real quick, was there times that maybe I'll take the gun out and just leave it on the counter for 10 minutes before I leave back out the door, just so it's not sitting on me? Yeah. Once the kid came into the picture, that's never happened. Not one time since in 19 months. That number two, I'm much more aware out in public, especially because I carry. I'm much more aware, and I was always aware in that sense, but I'm more aware of like, okay, even though my kid's in the stroller, like, all right, is anybody coming too close to the stroller? Like, I understand that I'm carrying, but like, obviously, my goal is to never expose this item in public, right? Like that's not what I want to do. I'm not over here trying to be a superhero. I'm over here making sure me and mine are okay.
Exactly.
So, I'm always very weary of that. As far as I make sure that if I am with my son, that like I know that everything is tucked away properly. There's nothing like no way possible that it's not kind of like half done where it's like, oh yeah, I'll just tuck it into my belt. Like I got the holster, the triggers covered, like everything is clean with that. And then just around the house and stuff like that, it's very making sure, like constantly making sure, oh, is this locked? Is this good? Like, especially when places have loaded firearms in them, you want to make sure that, you know, everything is like he can't reach certain things. Like if there's a way, for example, in my bedroom, I have a between my bed and my nightstand, I have a handgun safe, one of the ones that like slide out.
Yeah.
Print or passcode. So I have that in between my bed and my nightstand. If he's ever in our room, I make sure I take, because like I said, it's right there. I take my pillow and I cover it so he doesn't even see that it's there. He doesn't see that it's there, so he doesn't have any kind of urge to even come remotely close to that. It's locked. It's under a fingerprint. It's under a passcode that nobody besides myself knows, and it's obviously only my fingerprints. But still, can never be too careful, right? So I make sure the pillow's over there. My where I keep my main safe, it's actually in like a closet. So you have to open the door in order to get to the safe where, that it's like a full size, legitimate big safe. You've seen it.
Right.
So that, I mean, there's no way he's getting in that unless he figures out the code. But even still, first of all, he can't reach where the keypad is. But even if he could, like, if that comes down to it, I can always take the battery out of it. So he can't do that because there's a way to bypass that and get to a key that only I know where is hidden. So it's really all just being as mindful as I can. I've definitely I toned it down when I first started carrying, but sometimes, road rage happens. I'm not saying I'm some crazy, I'm going to get no, but like sometimes you get pissed off. Something happens. You know what I mean? I've noticed myself definitely ever since I started carrying, but especially since I carry and have a child in the car. I'll let a lot of stuff go. Like I'm not that guy that's gonna chase you down. Like, oh, like all right, go ahead, cut me off. If you hit my car, cool. We'll handle it with the proper measures of calling police and insurance claims and all. It's all just a piece of metal. As long as me and mine are okay, cool, doesn't matter. But I just really just being aware, trying to make sure everything you're on top of it. Your P's and Q's, everything is good to go, and you're not causing any havoc in public.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah,
a follow-up question to that. As you know, I don't, not anymore, but as of recently, my granddaughter lived with us because my daughter was here. And I have 6 grandkids, 8 ranges from age. One's about to be 9 next month, all the way down to 10 months, 10 and a half months. So I always have a constant concept in mind, I do things differently probably than somebody else does, but that's because promises I've made to my wife, things that I want to do to keep people safe, especially for my grandkids. When would you think you would, and obviously you can change this whenever you feel like you need to change it, but when would you feel safe to start introducing your child to firearms?
I've actually been pondering that a lot lately. I think so. To the physical firearm itself, I would probably at least, I mean, in my opinion, maybe like 10, 11,
Okay.
12, where they're at an age where they understand a lot of what's right from wrong. Like I'm not giving a 5-year-old a handgun, right?
No.
But they understand what's right from wrong. They understand what guns are. They may not have ever held one. They may not have, but they play your games. You see, like Call of Duty, you shoot and things happen to people, right?
Right.
So as long as they understand that, but gun safety can go as far as I can take this pen right here and just be like, hey, listen, every time you're holding a gun, you want to keep your finger off the trigger. Like little stuff like that, right? Where it's not like you're holding it like this, but just keep it that way. Or like a TV remote, or even one of his toy guns whenever he has any. Like, hey, listen, don't point that at people. Like even if he's running around, like don't point that at people, because that was what got instilled to me as a kid. Like I said, we didn't have any guns in the house, but my dad kind of like grew up around them and stuff like that. So he knows a lot about them and everything like that. So it was always, and my grandfather, his dad was a World War II vet. So guns were very prevalent in the family, in his family. Like I said, his father was an officer. So my dad would always tell me, like, listen, don't point that at people. Even if it was my toy guns, like anything like that, don't point that at anybody. Point it down, like that kind of stuff. I think that is one of the most important things that you can do, because if yeah, of course, there's games and stuff like that. There's like laser tag. But if you're just running around the house, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. It's fun right now, but that mentality, in my opinion, can lead to, maybe not being as safe as you possibly could be when he is 10, 11, 12 years old. And I'm like, hey, listen, this is unloaded, but it's real.
Right.
This doesn't have anything in it, but look, hold it up. Don't point it at anybody. Make sure you don't point it, like that kind of little constant reiteration of stuff. I think that ingrains it more than anything else, more than any videos or anything like that. Like the constant, if you like, it's like when you're learning trigger discipline, right? Like I remember when I first got my first gun, that's something I had to work on a lot, because my natural instinct, as you see in movies, TV shows, you grab it, you know what I mean? Finger on the trigger right away. And I had to condition myself, because I was doing that with my real guns when I was taking them out to shoot in the range. I would pick it up and my finger would be in trigger well. And I'm like, I can't, because like, what if I sneeze, right? I'm picking it up and sneeze, boom, anything can happen, right? So always making sure that like little stuff like that, the constant reiteration of it, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. I think reinforcing good habits on things when you have time to reinforce it on will help when you are ready to introduce them to the real thing. Like, oh, I remember when Dad told me, keep my finger off the trigger until I'm ready to pull it. Make sure it's always pointed at something safe until I'm ready to point it at something I'm ready to shoot and destroy, things like that. So following the 4 rules of firearm safety, I think is very, very important. Very important. And only reason why I asked is because I know, like I said, you just became a dad not that long ago. Most of us who are firearms owners, probably I would say majority of us probably have kids or around kids all the time. And then the last thing you want to hear is, so-and-so's niece, nephew, son, daughter, little cousin got a hold of their firearm and did something to either take somebody else's life or by accident, or take their own life by accident. And you hear that far too often.
It's like that here at a local school. 7-year-old kid. 7-year-old kid shot somebody in school.
Yeah. So keeping your stuff. Keeping your things locked up away, not letting it just kind of sit around. My EDC is either on my hip at all times, tucked away. They don't even know I have it.
Right.
Like it's inside, shirt down. I tell them all the time, like, hey, we don't play certain ways.
Yeah.
Even though we have fun. I've shared many pictures of them jumping on me, playing on me playing with them. But I'm very mindful about where it's at. So when they're over, all guns are locked up in the safe or locked up in the case with a padlock, so that they can't get into it, things like that. So just want to make sure everybody else is out there that you're paying attention to what's going on in your household. Not telling you when it's right for your child to learn about it, but just whatever you do, make sure you're teaching them the right things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one thing for me that I've thought about a lot as well is I don't even want him knowing dad's got guns. I don't want him knowing that at all. Not until not until I think he's ready to get into that. Because like I don't want him running around school being like, oh well, my daddy's got guns. You know, he's do whatever. Next thing I know, I got a three-letter agency showing up at my house talking about, oh, hey, guess what? Your kid was saying in school. So like, I don't even want him to know about them.
Right.
You know, hopefully as best as I can, where it's like, you know, when we get in the house, like, hey, you know, go upstairs, follow your mom, and then I can take it out, put it in its safe, close the door. If he asks me what's this, and like what the safe is, hey, Dad, that's my refrigerator. I keep it locked.
Let me ask you this, and this has always been I think a controversial topic for people with kids, people around kids on a regular basis when they're carrying. Are you a person that believes carrying one chambered at all times, or do you believe in the Israel carry now that you have your son?
Carrying with one in the chamber was a very sore subject for me because it took me a very long time to get comfortable carrying with one in the chamber. I always said, hey, listen, like if I ever talk to anybody, I was like, listen, always keep one in the chamber. But for me, I always preface it with make sure when you're comfortable and you understand. It took a long time for me. Now, I also couldn't carry up until a few years ago in my state because of state laws at that time. You had to have what was called a good and substantial reason. Basically had to, and it was up to the reviewer of your application of what good and substantial.
Good and standard. Yeah.
Good and substantial and my good and substantial could be two completely good and substantial.
Right.
Which was a problem. I got denied for my very first time applying for a carry permit because my reason wasn't good and substantial, even as a business owner, which was like the key to getting a carry permit in Maryland was basically business owners could only get it. And if you were dealing with cash and stuff like that. But I had other states. I always had Pennsylvania because it was super easy. It's my next state north, very easy to get there, non-residents. My first permit was New Hampshire because New Hampshire has a bunch of reciprocity and you can apply for it in the mail. So you don't have to go there. You don't have to take a picture. You send them like a $20 or $30 check. At least that's what it was back then. And you get a permit in the mail. Now you have carry rights in whatever 20-something, 30-something states.
Okay.
So my experience with carrying was very few times and far between. Only when I would go up to Pennsylvania or another state that I could carry in. So it was like a couple of times a year. You know, like I don't really have anything to do in Pennsylvania, and if I do, a lot of time I can't bring. Like it might be a concert, and I can't bring the gun there anyways.
Right.
So. But once I started carrying in Maryland, they changed that good and substantial reason law. They got rid of it. It took me a while. I started carrying in Maryland in 2022. And it took me probably like 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Probably of carrying every day to carry one in the chamber.
A little longer than it took me.
I didn't have a safety either. I always don't, which is funny because it kind of contradicts it, right? You don't you don't want a safety on the gun, but you don't have one in the chamber anyway. So like, it's better to just flip off a safety than have to rack the slide. But to me, I was always afraid, like, hey, what if it goes off while it's on me by accident, whatever the case may be. But it took me a while to get over that it's like, hey, listen, it's fine. But it's better to do so. But I also don't, especially with my own experience, I don't ever shame anybody for now. I'm not like, oh, you might as well leave the gun at home.
Yeah.
because like also it depends. I understand that like oftentimes you may not be able to be in a situation where you can rack the slide, but it's also part of the things that you learn in your gun class where there's a stage white, stage yellow, and stage red, right?
Mhm.
White is not no alert at all. Yellow is you know, head on a swivel. Red is
Yeah.
it's go time.
It's go
You
time.
know,
Yeah.
so be it stage yellow all the time, even if there's nothing to be stage yellow about. Why not?
Yeah.
Just look around. Get off the phone. You know, look over here. Oh, okay, cool. You know, keep an eye on the exits if you're at a restaurant. Make sure. Oh, okay, that guy. Everything looks good. Or like, hey, that guy looks a little weird. Get the hell out of here. You know, like
As
something.
as an owner, one thing you'll learn if you aren't carrying yet or own a firearm yet is you'll learn your awareness kind of changes. You start looking at things a little differently in the world.
Oh yeah,
You're paying more attention to things you probably wouldn't have noticed if you weren't carrying, just because you want to know. Well, if you're training for the right purpose, you want to make sure that you are keeping people yourself and people you love safe. So it's always knowing like the little things like where's the closest exit to where
right.
you're sitting at when you're in a restaurant, or if I had to get sometimes even just where you park.
Oh yeah.
When you're going in. The way I watched a video where somebody says when you are a licensed gun carrier and you carry, your whole day is different than when you don't.
I can agree with
And
that.
yeah. So even to the point of I work. Everybody knows I work in finance. I work for a bank, and when I'm at work, I can't carry in federal law. I can't carry in. Plus, it's the bank's regulation.
Mhm.
But so I have to think of ways to protect my firearm securely until I can get back. So having a lockbox tethered to a metal object in the car that I can lock it up in and put it up away. Um, so keeping things like that in mind when you're out and about, I think is very, very, very important for sure.
Yeah, and just to add a little asterisk to what you said about like how your whole day revolves around it. What I want to stress to the listeners is that like don't overthink that you're carrying. Nobody knows, especially because 98% of people are walking around like this.
Like that.
I promise you, there so many people are completely clueless as to what's going on around them, and this is why it's so crucial to be in stage yellow all the time.
Yeah.
Is that you looking down like this could easily get you robbed, or like whatever could happen. Somebody could come behind you, hit you, and you get blindsided. You have no idea. All it takes is just put this down, and I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else, but I try my best, especially when I'm carrying, to make sure, because my key is to get out of Dodge. Again, I'm not a superhero.
Right.
I got to get the hell out.
Yeah.
You know? And unfortunately, people let that stop him. And your outfits, right? Like you don't have to go out and buy, you know, the tactical pants.
Oh, tactical pants and stuff like that. No,
with
no.
the pockets of the magazine.
You're basically advertising.
I
have a gun.
casual clothes every single day, whether it's like khakis or slacks, jeans, like, you know, casual shoes, sweaters. Like that's what I wear for work. And I managed to do it. I don't even have a gun belt. I use a regular leather belt.
Regular leather belt.
I don't even use a gun belt. Like I try, and I did that on purpose because I don't want, one thing I didn't want to do is have to change who I am and how I dress for the gun.
Right.
I don't do that for my phone. I don't do that for my wallet. Like, and those are all tools in my everyday life.
That you
For
carry.
this tool, you know, now granted, you got to figure out which position based on your body type you can carry in and what's most comfortable for you. That is something you want to learn right away. And in the best experience is just trying it.
Right.
Appendix.
Yeah, I think I have a whole. I tell this in my last video, but I got a whole thing of cases, or I guess say cases,
holsters. I got the cases.
Yeah, you got the cases that I have a few of. But the holsters, I have a whole thing of holsters just sitting right here. me trying different things
Yeah.
to see what's going to work the best for me.
And it's an
Right.
expensive ass trial and error. But
It
once
is.
but
It is.
the thing is you have to spend that money. You can't just be like, "Oh," like me, for example, my first holster was a Vetter holster, right? They're like $70. That was a lot of money for me when I was I mean, it's still a lot of money, but, like, back then, especially when I was just getting into my gun, I'm like, "Damn, $70 just to put this thing on me?"
Yeah.
Like, "Alright, well, I got it." And I found that, like, based on my body type and based on the way I like to carry, the metal clip would dig into my side, or I drive a two-door car, I drive a coupe. When I would sit with it at 3 o'clock, the metal belt clip would dig into my leather car seat. And I didn't like that because I'm
Mm.
like, why I shouldn't have to ruin my car
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
carry like that doesn't add up. It's supposed to just add on, not like change everything about it. So spend the money, do it, resell. People constantly buy these holsters, especially in good condition. What I'm trying to tell people, spend the money, get what you like. For example, my EDC is a leather holster. A
Mhm.
lot of people are like, "Bro, you're crazy, Kydex." I don't like Kydex. It doesn't feel comfortable for me. I'm not, a skinny body type, six-pack guy. Like, that's not me.
Yeah.
So and with my leather holster, because of the way it rides, I actually about 6 months ago started carrying appendix instead of 3 o'clock. So I
Okay.
carry appendix even as a heavier set guy. I carry appendix every day because of the comfort of my holster, the way it sits in my pants. It tucks down low enough to where it doesn't dig into any uncomfortable places, and it's so easy to conceal because it's right in front. It's let's be honest here, who's going around just looking at people's crotches? Running around like, your local supermarket
I
just, "Hey,
mean,
do I see a
I'm
gun? Do I
not.
see a gun?" Right, I'm not, you know what I mean? And I've never had that knock on wood, I've never had
Yeah.
that issue. But, like, that's another thing where it's like people think, "Oh my god, they know." Like me, I remember my first time carrying, I went to a store, just like a clothing store. I was like, "Oh my god, everybody is looking at me." They know,
Everybody's looking
they
at
know,
me.
they didn't know anything. And I was carrying a full size like an idiot back then, 17 rounds, like, full size 9 millimeter, and I'm like, "Damn, everybody knows." And then, like, that's another thing, adjusting the pants. I don't know if you recently started carrying, so I don't know if you still do that, but it's, like, nerve-wracking because 'cause you're like, "Damn, these things are falling." But what I do, the way that I got over that, funny enough, I actually walked around my house, unloaded gun, but still with the
Mhm.
gun on me, and I would anytime I felt my pants were sagging a little bit from the gun, I would lift my shirt up in front of a mirror and be like, "Oh, we're good. Oh, we're good. Okay, cool." Go around my day. I'm like, "Damn, these things are." I wouldn't try to adjust it. I'd run to the mirror and look, like, pull up my shirt, be like, "Okay,
Mhm.
cool. We're still good." And then eventually I was like, "All right, well, obviously it's not falling. We're good to go. We can carry without having to keep hiking them up." So it's all about practice. The more you do
Yeah.
it, the more you do it, get used to it.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest way of or my hardest way to carry is in my gym gear.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's usually the most expanding,
Mhm.
the elastic's a little bit lighter. I did do that leisure carry um uh clip-on belt. And I may go back and revisit that for when I'm going
Mhm.
back to the gym again. As the weather starts to get a little warmer, I'll be wearing, not as thick um pants because right now I can go to the gym and I can wear a sweatshirt like this with a matching sweatpants, and that's
Mhm.
a thicker pant. It'll be a little bit better. But some of my older stuff, yeah, no, it's not fitting anymore. Plus, going through the weight loss, that's another adjustment.
Oh
So
yeah.
you have to, yeah, yeah. You're not buying clothes for your carry. You're buying clothes for you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, and
make
that's
sure
the
to take
thing,
it
you
on that.
gotta make the carry fit into your wardrobe because if you don't and it doesn't fit into your everyday clothing, you're never gonna carry your gun, right?
Nope,
And
you
that's
will
just
not.
that's just how it is. "Ah, man, I'm wearing a shirt, it rides a little too high. I think people are gonna I'm just gonna leave it home today." "Oh,
Yeah,
pants are a little tight. Nah, I'm just gonna leave it home." Just
yeah.
put it in there, like,
Put
squeeze
it
it
in there.
if it's, like, uncomfortably tight where you can't okay, but maybe go up a little bit, like one
Yeah,
size
what
up.
I've
And
learned is
belt.
if I just up like in my like the other night, I was out for my father-in-law's 75th birthday party.
Mhm.
Pants just a little bit too big, so you stick the gun and you stick the holster in there. tighten the belt up around it, and it fits just like I didn't have any problems.
There you go.
The only person who knew I was carrying that night was my wife, and that's only because she said, "Do you have your gun on you?" I'm like, "Of course I do."
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the truth. Where it's like nobody else knows besides the people that you know. But like, my wife is not a gun person. She does not like guns. She shot them before. She shot mine. We went to the range before. She's like, she's afraid of them. Plain and simple, she's afraid of guns, which is okay. And I told her, and she even said to me, when I started carrying, maybe like 6 or 7 months later, she was like, you know what? She was like, I actually I don't like guns, but I feel unbelievably safe when I'm with you, knowing you have one on you. And you know what you're doing with it. And it's like, I know that like, you're not just going to run around, like just waving it around. But like, push comes to shove, you got something that can get our asses back in the car and home. And that was super, super important to me and to her. But yeah, the clothing is not as important as people think it is, except for me, that gym wear stuff that you're talking about. I still haven't figured out how to, but I'm also not, again, I know myself, I'm not somebody who often leaves the house in gym wear. That's just not who I am. You know what I mean? Especially because at any point in time, I could have to go do something for work, go meet a client, do whatever I got to do. So I always try to dress for whatever may end up popping up. Yeah. So in my everyday, but again, if I'm like running to the grocery store, there has been times, I got to be honest, has been times I'm in, some joggers and I'm like, damn, I'm not going to go change into jeans. I'm going to go all the way upstairs at home, or I'll just like yank the hell out of the drawstrings, really tie them up and hope the gun don't fall.
Hope it doesn't fall. Give me 1 second. I got to take care of something real quick and I'll be right back and then we'll finish this up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I did also realize my old profile pic is up there.
Oh yeah. I know.
All right. So a couple more questions for you. Let's see here. So this was a good one. Many people don't know there was a reason why I did the self-defense coverage video. You were the reason why I did it. So what was your biggest takeaway from that video?
My biggest takeaway, which I completely truthfully I have not unfortunately changed yet, but my renewal is coming up, so it's time. It's getting time. My biggest takeaway was that the company that I was sold on may not be what I once thought it was, which is I don't know. Should I say that?
You can say.
We're gonna cut. All right. Which is USCCA. I've been a USCCA subscriber since way before I could carry, because of specifically their in-home policies too, that it would cover your adults over 18 years old in case they had to do anything. And, at that point when I got it originally, I was still living with my parents, but I got it just in case. You never know. I'd rather pay the 30 whatever bucks a month and have X amount of money for insurances if in case anything happens, than not have anything at all. And still to this day, I'm a USCCA member. Like I said, my annual membership's due to renew next month. My biggest takeaway, though, besides that, I unfortunately picked the company that may not be the best company to do, is that there's a lot, like, even if you've never heard of them, there's a lot of really good options. Like watching that video, I noticed that like there was some companies in there that I was like, yeah, I looked at their site. When you would mention it, what I would do is I would pause the video and I would just go to their website. When you said, hey, we're going to call this company, I would pause it and read through. So that way I had a little bit of like, background knowledge before just listening to what you had to say. Cause then I can relate to, oh, okay, I saw this. And then maybe you'll go in. I didn't see the video until that. Maybe you'll go into a little bit of detail on something I had a question on after, previewing their website and what they have to offer. So I definitely found that there's some better companies out there, but the biggest thing I think is that you gotta find what's right for you and really listen to that. And this is why when we spoke on the phone that one day, I told you that like that video is so important and that you did that. And it breaks my heart that it doesn't have 10 million views on it, because it should. because of how much detail and time and effort. I know how long that video, believe me, if anybody knows, I know how long that video must have taken you. And I think that might be one of the most impactful videos on your channel, just because it's like everybody, you see USCCA everywhere, man. They're
Yeah.
everywhere. They're the biggest company that does this. In my wear and carry class, they came and they had an agent for like a sales rep from USCCA pitch it. And we had no idea that there was other companies. So they were like, oh, damn, we should $30 a month. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
All this, we should sign up for it. So we did. And I've had it since I think it's like 2018, maybe 17. So I've had it for a long time. So, but I think that video is super important because it really breaks down and keeps you in one video. You get to see all of the different competition and what they offer for the monthly price, which I think is super, super important, because that way you don't make a mistake and that could potentially cost you your freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. The I would say, first off, that video took me from the time I really started gathering information to the time I finally finalized and uploaded it. It was probably about a month and not a month and a half, about 5 weeks roughly. About 5 weeks.
Plus, with everything else you have going on in your everyday
well,
life.
yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like 5 weeks with everything else I had going on in my life.
A long time for planning a video too.
Yeah. I took a Friday afternoon off early and made calls. That's the day you see me making calls. And some people were open, some people were closed already. I was like, man, that kind of sucks. But even with Brian saying that the company, they may not be the right one for him now, then it was. So
it was.
So just the preference, USCCA does do a lot for their membership. So you get, not only do you get the coverage, you get training videos, you get magazines, sometimes you get free stuff
for referring people. I've referred people to them.
Yeah.
And I've gotten some free stuff out of it for sure.
Yeah. So what was right for Brian in 2016? 18. When he first bought that, does not say that it's not good for him. It's just not good for him today.
Right.
Different circumstances. You got wife, you got a kid, you got businesses, you got a house. You really have to go in and do your research. I'll link that video up here somewhere. For those who haven't seen it yet, just go out there and take a look at it.
Not to cut you off, if you haven't seen it, but take the hour or however long it was. It doesn't matter. It could be 10 hours. Take the time and watch the video, because it's so important that you protect. Like, you have insurance for your car, you have insurance for your house in case it lights on fire, floods, your car, you crash it, this and that. You have insurances on all types of crap. You have insurances on your phone, your tablets, your computers. Get insurance for your safety. Definitely watch that video and make sure you got, like, really take the time. Don't scroll on TikTok while you watch. Like, it's too important to not give it your full attention, even if you got to take a month to watch it, just like Ghost took a month to make it. Right. If you take a month to watch it, just watch it and give it your full attention. That way you pick exactly who's right for you, because you never know what might happen one day. And the best agency, the best coverage for you is the most important.
Yeah. The good news is, as of today, versus when I first released the video, the chapters are available. So if you kind of want to click around, like, what does all USCC have? You can click on the different chapters of the parts from USCCA, or Second Call Defense, or Attorneys on Retainer. Those were some of the companies that I covered. I covered like 3 other companies as well. Just those ones that first popped in my head. So take some time to go through there and look and get a feel, and do some more of your own research as well before you make a final decision on what's going to be best for you. So
for sure.
Great. All right. So I'm going to go back into your wheelhouse a little bit. We'll talk about the tech side of things.
Cool.
In the tech world in firearms, what have you seen that has changed just from the time you first started carrying to today?
What has changed? Explain your question.
Probably, I would say, from my understanding, because mind you, I'm new to this. I've only been doing this for I've only been researching guns for the last 2 years. I've only been carrying for like the last year and some change. So some of the stuff that's available today has been available to me since I started.
Mm-hmm.
But if you'd have went back pre-COVID,
Mm-hmm.
some of that stuff was not quite as available. I.e., you have red dots that are more prevalent today than they were probably around that time. You have more people making red dots. So I don't know if there's. I know you carry. You said your red dot was the.
So I don't carry a red dot. My gun is
on your carry. You don't carry a red dot.
My carry, I don't carry a red dot.
Yeah, but you said you had one on one.
I have a few red dots. I have 2 Delta Point Pros.
Yep.
Leopold Delta Point Pros. I have one on my Staccato P and one on my Echelon, and then on my AR, I have that just whatever Amazon brand one.
Okay. Yeah. So there you like just there two different price levels of
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
The Amazon special is probably right around what, $100, $150?
No, I think it was like $40.
No, even that. It's even cheaper than that, right?
It was
compared to your Delta Pros, it was way.
Yeah, they're like $200. Yeah, they're a little more expensive. They're not by far. They're not the most.
No, not by far. Not even the most expensive because you got what's the company I'm thinking of that I stay away from every time I look at them.
Hell, even Sig makes the Romeo Zero, and I think that thing's like $350.
Yeah. If you're looking at that for your AR, yeah, they're up there. I have a Holliston 510 for my AR. Yeah, which is like $330 dog treats. I'm gonna start changing the currency thing because YouTube is really funny about talking about currency and firearms. Yeah, it's weird. So
good old YouTube, man.
Yeah, good old YouTube. I had a whole conversation earlier this week with YouTube and a bunch of other GunTuber creators. I wasn't talking. I was listening. I was at work. I recorded it. I got it on my phone. I'm waiting to take some time and listen to that whole conversation. But it just talked about rules and policies and things like that. So for those creators out there, if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. Like, hey, I'd be interested to know what they talked about. I know of a few other people who were on it. I don't know if they're also will be covering anything like that, but I'm sure it was a lot of good conversation to kind of know what YouTube is trying to do and why there are some restrictions on what they're doing. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. So red dots are huge.
Yeah, red dots are huge, are much more readily available now than they were when not even when I first started carrying, because I started carrying only a few years, like really carrying. That wasn't just on the every once in a while. Only, what are we in 2026? Only 4 years ago, right? So that was after COVID. But like originally, man, buying a red dot, like if the Amazon special ones were trash, like I got a pretty decent one compared to what else was out there on the market for my AR. But like they were garbage. They kind of sucked. But now that like the technology is much more readily available, a lot of these products, they're coming from China, but like you can get a pretty solid red dot for like $50. A pretty solid one that'll have different rectiles on it, different colors.
Yeah.
Like you can have lights built in, all that stuff,
I mean, if you're not taking it through a torture test like you see some of these other people doing, you're right.
I mean, listen, if you're the biggest thing is at the end of the day, it's a dot, right? It's just a light. You have to know how to calibrate it and make sure it stays calibrated. You got to shoot your weapon. You got to make sure that you're proficient in it, especially if it's what you're carrying. But that's really the only way you can kind of test if it's good or not, besides reading reviews. But everybody, if I had an experience with mine, it could be the best red dot on the market, but I had a bad experience. So I might go in there and leave a 1-star review, and that might sway your opinion next time, when you're checking. So the biggest thing is if you buy it, take it out. Don't procrastinate until the last day of your return period. Take it out, dump, 100, 200, 300 rounds through it. Whatever you got to do, using it, not through it, but whatever you got to do to make sure that you're comfortable with it. And at the end of the day, you could have $1,000 red dot. If you're not comfortable with using it, it might as well be a $10 one.
Yeah.
It's not even calibrated.
True.
Or cited.
Very true.
And then also another
Strigicon. That's the name of the red dot company I was thinking of.
Oh, Strigicon makes some pretty good. Yeah.
They better. I think I looked at one as like $700 dog treats.
Yeah, they get really, really expensive. Yeah,
they do get really expensive. That was for a pistol. So,
but another thing, I don't know if this is technology. I mean, it has to be technology though. Is the size of a lot of these guns. You can fit a gun in the palm of your hand that'll carry 12 rounds.
The Bodyguard 2.0,
Bodyguard P365.
Yeah.
I have one of those. I have a 365 XL, which is just a longer. Actually, no, the barrel's longer too. I was gonna say it's only a longer grip, but the barrel's longer too.
Yeah, I think the barrel's longer. Yeah, for sure. My wife's got her the 365. We were looking at 2 380s in the 9mm.
Yeah.
And for her, the size difference wasn't much. Yeah, I know you did. So the size difference, for those who didn't, we'll link that up there as well.
Leave that up. That's a good video.
The size difference between the three isn't major, but for her, it's about, she has small hands. So like mine, and her hands come to like here on me. Yeah. So although she's 5'11", she's such the oddest. She's got such these small hands, but she's 5'11".
Yeah,
so she's not a short person. She's not like she's 5'3" and got little hands. No, she's 5'11" with little hands and little feet. I tease her about it all the time. I said, your mom messed you up. I said, you got all your dad's height and you got your mom's hands and feet.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, encourage those who are looking, get out there. A lot of your gun ranges will have guns that you can rent to test. Rent as often as you need to until you're ready to make a decision. I think I took her back to the range 4 or 5 times before she finally settled on something.
Yeah, man. What it takes.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yeah. I think the first time I bought mine, I think I went 3 times in like 2 weeks, just renting different firearms. And
it can get a little expensive, but what's more expensive?
I mean,
not being use what you're actually comfortable with, just because you don't know any better, and that could cost you way more later down the line than something that you can hold. It's comfortable in your hand. You feel comfortable, secure, confident holding it and shooting it. Like for me, for example, I got big hands too, and the P365 with the regular 10-round mag is just a hair. I have that gun, but it's a hair too small for when I'm holding it. The bottom of it, my finger sticks out past. So I ended up getting a magazine with a little pinky groove, so that alleviated the problem. But I would have never known had I not shot it and figured out that was an option. So you definitely want to go out there. You want to make sure that you really test out especially what you're going to carry. I bought, I'm guilty of buying guns completely in the blind because I thought they would be cool, but definitely not my carry gun. Like these are guns that like the Staccato P. Never shot one before I owned one. Never shot one. Never shot a Springfield Echelon before I owned one. What else? The P320X full size, the one that I have now. Never shot it before I owned it. I just knew the company. I read a lot of reviews and stuff, and I bought it kind of in the blind as far as shooting it myself, but I was super happy with every purchase because I also know what I like. When I hear somebody talking about how the trigger reset is, right? I know what I like and I know what I don't like. So if it has the trigger reset that I like, I'll know that checks that box that, okay, this might be something that might be right for me. Maybe not as a carry gun, but at least there's something to own it and to shoot.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think, no, that was it. Yeah, we talked about Chuck World Changes. Okay. So that was all my questions. That's all my questions for tonight. I thank you very, very much for coming on. I know I've been bugging you for a while.
Dude, no, I'm so happy.
We even actually talked about at one point in time maybe doing a podcast show together on a regular basis, but due to what he's got going on, once every blue moon will be what we'll do. This is my buddy Brian.
Sir.
For those, and when I mean buddy, I mean I don't mean like, oh, we just talk via YouTube. No, we have each other's phone numbers. If I have a case that looks out of the ordinary, sir. I got it from Brian. So
and hold on, I wanted to show you. I got you cut this out of the episode if you want to, but I got for the S26 Ultra that Alumu Aramid that everybody's talking about right now. I got that in, so I can't wait to get the phone in to
No. What did you get? Did you get the tank for the 26?
26, yes, not 25. I'll show you
the. I know. You already told me you didn't get it for the 25.
Right, yeah, if I did, I'd have sent it to you. But here's I actually have my tanks because I was working on a video right here. So here's the tank for that's 26.
That thing looks dope. It looks bulky, but I bet you it just feels good in the hand.
It feels pretty good. It feels pretty
good. D-Brand does a really good job, which that's what this is, obviously, for those who don't know. So D-Brand. This is actually just the skin. You can purchase. So if you have a D-Brand grip, you can buy the skin and put that on. But he sent it to me like this. I already have another one from him. So this makes it look like a different case. So he said, you can take it. I was like, no.
Shout out to D-Brand, man. Every time they send a new skin, they send a new case. So to put it on. So it's awesome. Yeah. But no,
I guess that's a good question. Do we know of any of the case companies that do anything for firearms? I don't think so. I think they're pretty separate. Most of the case companies are smaller companies, smaller companies.
There are some really big ones out there. Like, I think the closest thing that you could possibly get to would be, I wouldn't necessarily call this a smartphone company. They make smartphone cases, but Pelican makes stuff for firearms and they make phone cases.
Okay.
Pelicans, I don't know if you've ever seen like a Pelican box. They're like those big, like neon orange or white. They're like waterproof, dustproof. Like you can submerge it.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like a lot of people. They make camera equipment. They make firearm stuff. They make coolers, phone cases, like all types of stuff. So them, and then maybe if D-Brand ever decided to come out with a skin for it,
D-Brand could do it, bro. D-Brand, if anybody would do it, D-Brand would do it.
But they're from Canada, they don't really have the gun culture that we do in the US. They're a Canadian company, so they don't necessarily have all of that over there because of their laws and things like that. But I don't know how many companies are going to be mixing those two pots. I don't know. The tech space is very one-sided on this topic, whereas the gun space is very different-sided on this topic.
What they don't understand is that us tech guys like firearms.
Yeah, tech guys like and gun guys like tech. Listen, man, everybody needs to just get along, but it's unfortunately it's such a sensitive subject, and honestly, a lot of the time lately, you look at it and you're like, I kind of get why it's so sensitive if you just watch the news and stuff, but what people fail to realize is it's not people like me and you who are legally abiding. I'm not.
But we're the ones who get like people like us are the ones who get the blunt of the law because they're trying to stop the criminal. Newsflash for those who don't understand: criminals don't care about your laws. That's why they're criminals.
Meanwhile, now I can't carry anywhere because they don't
because of the criminals, right?
Hey,
it's not stopping the criminal from carrying, but nonetheless, it's impeding our Second Amendment. But Brian, again, thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight.
Man, anytime. This was a blast. It was all that I was looking forward to and more. I'm glad I came on, and we're for sure gonna do this again. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, we're for sure.
I always enjoy talking to people. Especially my friends.
Yes, sir.
Especially my friends, especially ones I've known for a couple years. We met I don't think your son was even born yet when we first met.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. I think it was. I joined the Discord in 2021 or 2.
Okay, I think you were before me because I was 2022.
I was one of the first people because before that he had he just had a Twitter like a message DM group, like a DM group chat. It was like 7 people in there. And then we got to talking and I was like, this kind of sucks. We should do a Discord or something. Because like you can't, there's so many different conversations going on at once. And back then you couldn't really reply to people. So you're just fishing through the messages to try to see if somebody was talking about you or to you. Whereas with Discord, there's different channels. It's so much cleaner and all that. But
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've been part of that community for a while. But yeah, it's been a minute. You've been on there for years for sure.
About 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years. I think when I joined the Discord for T's channel. That's who somebody I would like to get on and talk about this. But he's got family. He's got his job.
I'm sure he would. If you give him enough notice, I'm sure he would come on. I don't see because I know he's very passionate about the subject too. I'm sure he would come on.
Yeah.
So
oddly enough, I went to T's Discord for T, and you and I have become friends more than anybody else in the Discord that I have in Discord with. Don't get me wrong, Ray, she's a great girl.
Yeah, she is.
Passive, Logan. I'm using a lot of their Discord names just so that we don't use.
Angus has stayed at my house before.
No, there you go.
He's the only person out of the Discord I've ever actually met in, besides like video call or anything like that, because he was just in the area visiting friends, and he was like, "Hey, listen, like let's hang out. We talk all the time, just like you and I do." And I was like, "Come on, let's go, let's hang out." So,
I know you have I know you do some summer trips to Florida. I don't know if any of them are in Jacksonville. I don't know if any of them are in Jacksonville.
No, I never really go to Jacksonville. I drive.
Yeah, nobody really goes to Jacksonville
because Jacksonville's down towards like Miami, right?
No. It's like northern.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Jacksonville. No. I'm sorry. Yes, I drive through Jacksonville. I don't really stay in Jacksonville. Yeah. I have to drive through and then I go more west. But
got you.
Yeah, I've oftentimes will like stop for gas.
Well, yeah, we're gonna be down there for the a regular meetup 6, which is a convention. For those who aren't familiar with that, you should look that up. A regular meetup at gmail.com. Ask for information. I may have the link somewhere as well. I'll probably post that, but that's going to be June 11th, 12th, and 13th. Is that the right dates? Okay. Yeah, June 11th, 12th, and 13th. On the 13th, we'll have the regular meetup award show. I'm not a part of that, but I do put the links in the descriptions for those who are a part of it. So go out and go vote for those creators. Also, if you don't know about them, that's a good chance for you to go check them out and see what they offer on their channel as well. We had Chanda on. We had Chanda on a few episodes back.
I started watching a little bit of that interview.
Yeah, and she's up for Bust New Creator. We had Bustin' Guns on for our very first guest episode of this series, and he's up for Under the Radar. So there's a few people out there. There's some more people I want to get on here and talk to. I'm in the works of having probably Zach from Fat Guy with Guns to do a chat with me. Probably a day or two after this one. He does a lot of the live episodes with RGG, which is the regular gun guy. Then hopefully I can get RGG to come on and chit chat up before Arm 6 or after Arm 6 to talk a little bit more about Arm, the regular meetup meetings.
Yeah,
so
man.
Cool.
Excited for those episodes. Cool.
Actually, I'm missing his live right now. Usually on Friday nights he does his live at 9:05, and there have been times where I've been on that live with him, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Have someone as big as him let someone as small as me come hang out with him, and talk firearms.
Sure.
I listen to their conversations and how deep they get into it. I'm thinking I'm not even close.
All in due time, my friend.
And then they ask me a question. I'm like, yeah. So I try to give my input as best as I possibly can.
Yeah. All in due time, man. We all start somewhere with every topic that you ever do.
Yeah.
So it all
any final things you want to leave the people with, Brian, before we go?
No, not really. I just if you guys are not subscribed to Ghost Dog Does Guns, for sure subscribe. Go watch. Like, I cannot stress enough. Go watch that concealed carry insurance video. It could end up making a huge difference in your life. And it only takes like an hour to watch it. Very easy watch too. You do a fantastic job breaking everything down on screen. Like, I can't highly recommend it enough. The video deserves 10 million views. But otherwise, no, I'm just super grateful to be on here. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to do it again.
Great, man. I appreciate it. All right. Well, this is your boy GDDG saying stay safe, stay ready, stay prepared, and we'll catch up with you next time. Until then, peace.
Later.